This is a material sample for a peak transformation oration with opposites 12J. And for this program, all you're going to really need are textual words, opposite textual words, and a written story just on plain white flashcards that you could laminate. For stimuli A, you're going to use a textual word. So for example, tall, big, thick, and above. And we just have them on flashcards, tall, big, thick, and above. For stimuli B, those are going to be the opposites. So short, small, thin, and below are in your stimuli B column. Stimuli C are just arbitrary words, so we picked Zax, Yub, Kip, and Bog. For test class, for stimuli Y, you're going to have a written story on a flashcard that contains the textual word over in the stimuli A column. So for example, the first one is the building was tall. Okay, and the goal is to get for stimuli Z, the building was Zax. And I'll explain the purpose kind of what you're trying to do here in just a second, but this is just what your materials are going to look like. So the building was tall. Another story we just made up was the hippo was big. The book is thick. And he was above the water. Okay, so those stories, like I said, are going to include the textual word from stimuli A that you chose. Okay, so from there, how to run this program. Your first block, you're going to train from A to B. Okay, so you're going to present one of these words that are on your flashcard. So if I'm doing train class 1, I would show them tall. And then I would say, find opposite. Okay, so I would have out all my stimuli B. So these are all my opposites. I don't know if you can see all those. And so I would give them this word, and I would say, find opposite. So the opposite of tall would be short. That's the correct answer. So you would just be training all of those opposites. So giving them one of the cards from stimuli A, depending on what train class you have in your block for your trial, and getting them to say stimuli B, which is find opposite, or getting them to point to it, because you're going to have that array out. For the next block of 10 trials, you're going to do from train B to C. Okay, so you're going to present a word in your B column for stimuli B, so your opposites, short, small, thin, below in this example. So if I am trying to do a trial for number 4 in my train class, I would present the word below, and I would ask them, say a word that is the same. The goal that I'm trying to get out of this is bog, that arbitrary word that I chose for stimuli C. So you have, like I said, your initial textual word, your opposites, and then those arbitrary words that are the same as the opposite. So below equals bog, thin equals kip, small equals yub, short equals zax. Okay, so once you've trained those parts, we're going to start making an equivalence jump. So now we're going to go from C to A. Okay, and that's the third train block of 10 trials. So for this one, you're going to present one of your stimuli A cards. So for example, if I was doing train class 2, I would put out big, and I would ask them to say a word that is the opposite. Now the thing with this is, if they say small, that's not incorrect. The opposite of big is small. But what we're trying to get out of this is from C to A. So we're hoping that when we say the opposite of big, they'll go straight to yub. They may not. So they might say the opposite of big is small. Okay, so then you're going to say it in a different way. And hopefully you're going to get them to say yub. Again, you're still training in this block trial. So you can be prompting, giving feedback, praising, doing whatever you need to do to start teaching that jump from C to A. Okay, so you're saying the opposite, but in a different way. Okay, and so then from there, block trial for test Y to Z, you're going to present the written story, and you're going to tell them to tell the opposite of the story. And they might give you one of these opposites. That's not necessarily incorrect, but that's not what a 10 would give them. So they would need to say it in a different way and give you the stimuli C that is correct for that story. So for example, if we had them do he was above the water, and we would say the opposite, or tell the opposite of the story, they should say he was bog the water. What they might do though is say he was below the water. That's an opposite. So then we would tell them say it in a different way. And that would hopefully get them to see, which would be he was bog the water. So another example, the book is thick, is the, test class 3 here. So the book is thick. Tell the opposite of the story. The book is kip. They automatically get a 10. If they say the book is thin, then you're going to say it in a different way, because that's not a prompt. You're again just trying to get that other piece out of it. And so if they would say the book is kip after that question, for say it in a different way, then they would receive a 10. Obviously you're not prompting, giving any feedback or praise, and you're just writing down either a 0 or a 10 if they get it correct or incorrect. So for another one, we'll do this one again. So he was above the water, and you would tell the opposite of this story. He was below the water. Say it a different way. He was bog the water. That's the correct answer. What they also might do is say, go straight to it. He was bog the water. It would be a 10 and you would move on. You wouldn't need them to say it in a different way. So that's just kind of a quick run through of what this program would look like and what the materials look like for this. We did run a live demonstration of this program, so feel free to pop over and take a look at that and see the scoring with it as well, and kind of watch that in action with me running it with another therapist to really get a better idea of what this looks like. So I hope you found this helpful.